What's up, guys? I just wanted to basically explain to you what I meant in my last video. This is part 2. In my last video, I mentioned that Zerg is the supreme ruler, supreme cheese, and blah 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 blah. Basically, it's 2 words, and that is metagame. Right now, the metagame is to play Zerg. To play like a Zerg. If you noticed, especially in this GSL match, this last Code S match, the Terran lost because he was trying to play like a Zerg. And what I mean is expansion, expansion, expansion. You can't do that. Only Zerg can do that. Why? It's because their hatcheries double as barracks production. Yours don't. So when you try to expand all over the place, the Zerg's just going to build up production out of his production and kill you. Your production is just SCVs. So he lost twice. Like, you can call it an all-in if you want. I call it a punish. You can call it a cheese if you want. I call it a punish. You're being greedy. I'm going to kill you. I'm a Zerg. I'm going to be greedy because I can afford to. Because if you go and do something, I can instead produce units. Because when I expand somewhere, that's potential units. Whereas you, it's just workers. So it's twice as greedy for you to do it because it's twice as punishable for you to do it. So right now, that's basically the metagame, and it's to play like a Zerg. And one defense that I have is a lot of these maps favor Zerg. How does that work, you might ask? Well, they all favor expansions. They're all like, oh, here's your expansion, here you go, it's freebie. Oh, look, here's your third base, it's kind of a freebie, there's like a back route, maybe a destroyable rocks, whatever the case. Here's the problem. Guess who has map control half the time? A Zerg. Guess who's going to punish you for having the back route open? A Zerg. Guess who wants expansions? Every race. But guess who can get away with it? A Zerg. So, what does that tell you? Metagame is Zerg. Be a Zerg. Guess who's in the GSL matches? Zerg versus Zerg. That's the final. It's a Zerg versus Zerg. Spoiler alert. Why? Because metagame is to be a Zerg. Go play Zerg. Go play Zerg. Go learn him. Go give it like a month. Stop doing what you're doing. Go play Zerg. You're gonna do well, because everyone's just expanding everywhere. I want to upload my video of me playing my first Korean player, and he was a Zerg player, and he had 3 bases, but he used every single base as production. He would have defeated these Code S players with what he did. And it was just through Zerglings. Fortunately for me, the way I play is I play the same way he did. But I know I can't expand without an army. So he went to go and kill me. I just defended a little bit. And instead of like turtling and then expanding, I actually just went and attacked him back. So that's where our match went. And then I got another base up, and and it escalated from there. But the way pros play is just you build up and build up and build up and build up and build up, and then you fight. But a Zerg at any moment's notice can turn around and be like, you know what, fuck that, I'm just gonna go and kill you. And that's basically what I'm trying to say, is that's why Zerg is like supreme cheese, is because they are the least punishable when it comes to expansions, because they can punish you twice as much as you can punish them. And that's if they choose to. Most of these Zergs end up losing because they be greedy. They play greedy, and they continue to play greedy, and they don't do anything, and then the Terran sends drops everywhere, and they can't keep up with it, and they can't stop the Terran from expanding, and they're just constantly throwing money, and eventually the Zerg messes up and loses. But as you've seen, if the Zerg is more aggressive, and everyone's just playing the metagame, their Zerg is going to win, because the Zerg is a Zerg. The metagame is to be a Zerg, so guess who wins? Zergs. GSL final, Zerg versus Zerg. Okay, my concern right now is that this new game's coming out, StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, it's going to favor Zerg. Everyone's just going to play Zerg. The meta game is just around late game. There's no early game anymore. I enjoyed the early game. The way I play is still the early game. That Korean that I played against, early game. We had fun. Like, I was using everything. Hallucination, force fields, immortals, stalkers, blink micro, zealot micro, everything was going off. He was sending roaches, he was sending zerglings, he was doing this, he was doing that, sending queens, doing all this crap, trying to just get shit going. But because, what was going on, it was just constant. We had like 170 APM. You know what I mean? We're going nuts, and this is minute 10 in the game. You know, at this time, pros are sitting there, and the commentators are like, "Oh, so what did you today, Artosis? Oh, I went and I took a dump, and it was totally cool, and I like blah 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 blah. And I remember back in the day when I was a pro at StarCraft 2, and we'd all sit around and do nothing all day too. You know, and it's stupid, and I don't know, like, and back on topic, Zerg is the best right now because the metagame is to play like a Zerg. So that's it. I dare you to argue with that fact, but as I said, it's a fact, and is indisputable, especially considering it's a Zerg versus Zerg final in Code S, and the previous match was a Zerg versus Terran, and that Zerg made a mockery out of that Terran because they both tried to play like a Zerg, and only the Zerg can play like a Zerg. Take it easy.